Welcome to the deep dive. We're looking at a really interesting mix of sources you've given us today.
Yeah, a collection of recent news, social media bits, all centered around various royal figures.
Right, and it paints quite a picture. Health scares, legal things, family moments, new ventures even.
So our mission here is to sort of pull out the key details, give you a clear overview of what's been happening.
And maybe understand a bit more about life lived under that kind of spotlight.
Exactly. And the sources, well, they kick off with something pretty intense.
You mean the story about Princess Maria Carolina?
That's the one. An Italian princess involved in a really serious accident.
Okay, so what did the sources actually say happened?
Well, according to her own Instagram post, this was May 28th, she had a major motorcycle accident.
Major how?
She said she crashed headfirst into a wall, ended up in the ICU. Reanimation was the word used.
Wow, that's serious.
Absolutely. She said she's incredibly lucky to be alive, even called it a miracle she survived. Strong words.
Yeah, you can feel the shock in that. Did she say more about it?
She did, actually. She used it to make a point about motorcycles. Thrilling, powerful, yes.
But dangerous.
Unforgiving was her word, and that led to her big piece of advice.
Which was?
Ride carefully, wear full protective gear, and crucially, a proper helmet. She was very clear. Hers, save my life.
That's a powerful message coming directly from someone who just went through that.
It really is. And the timing, the sources point out she was just at the Grand Prix in Monte Carlo.
And Caulfield Festival, too.
Yep. Walked the red carpet May 15th with her parents. Mentioned her Antonio Grimaldi dress. So quite the contrast.
Red carpet one week, ICU the next. That's stark.
It really is. She also made sure to thank the hospital staff, the first responders, their expert care, quick actions.
It's a sobering reminder, isn't it? How things can change in an instant, even for people living these seemingly charmed lives. And the helmet message is universal.
Absolutely. A key takeaway right there. Okay, so switching gears a bit, the sources also had quite a lot on Prince Harry.
Right, this seems to cover both his legal situations and some quite personal family stuff.
Exactly. So first up, the legal battle over his UK security.
What's the latest there?
Well, the sources say he lost his appeal. That was May 2nd. He was trying to challenge the High Court's decision from 2021 that reduced his security level.
And how did he reportedly react?
The word used was devastated.
And this has knock-on effects, according to him, for his family visiting the UK.
Apparently so. He's quoted saying he can't see a world where he'd bring Meghan and the kids back at this point.
He called it sad not being able to show them his homeland.
Yeah, quite a strong statement. And then there's the commentary on his relationship with his father, King Charles.
What did the sources say about that?
Harry apparently believes the king won't speak to him because of this security stuff.
But he wants to reconcile.
He says he does, yeah. Feels the ball is in his dad's court. He thinks the king could fix it.
How slow?
By stepping aside and allowing the experts to sort out the security. That was his take.
He used the phrase white flag, too, didn't he? For reconciliation.
He did. And that, combined with what he said about his father's health.
The life is precious comment.
Yeah, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father has. It adds, well, a real layer of personal urgency to it all.
It certainly makes the desire for reconciliation sound very deeply felt, despite the public disputes.
And there was another legal thing mentioned, separate from the security.
The News Group newspaper's lawsuit.
That's right, settled back on January 22nd over alleged unlawful information gathering, phone hacking, private investigators, that sort of thing.
And the outcome.
NGN paid substantial damages, gave a full and unequivocal apology.
And they acknowledged intrusion into his life and Princess Diana's.
Yes, specifically mentioned extensive coverage and serious intrusion into both their private lives.
So putting these pieces together, you really see this convergence of issues for him. Personal security, family ties, media intrusion, even echoes of his mother's experiences. It's a lot.
It really is a complex picture. Okay, moving on from the legal and family dynamics, the sources also gave us some important health updates.
Yes, these felt quite significant. Very personal insights from senior royals.
First, King Charles. On April 29th, he shared some reflections on his own cancer diagnosis and treatment.
What was his message?
He spoke about how the experience, though daunting, can bring into sharp focus the very best of humanity. Finding the positive, essentially.
And expressing gratitude.
Yes, thanked healthcare workers and organizations that support cancer patients. A message of appreciation.
And then there was news from Kate Middleton. quite positive news.
Very positive. She announced on January 14th that she's now in remission.
After finishing her cancer treatments.
Correct. Her message on X, formerly Twitter, was quite specific.
What did she say?
She talked about the relief of being in remission, but also that she remains focused on recovery.
Acknowledging it takes time.
Exactly. Mentioned adjusting to a new normal and that it takes time, but that she was looking forward to a fulfilling year ahead.
It's quite something, hearing both the King and the Princess of Wales speak so openly, well, relatively openly, about these major health challenges. It connects on a very human level.
It really does. You feel that vulnerability, but also the hope. Okay, so let's widen the lens again. Your sources covered a whole range of other family news and events, too.
Yeah, this next batch is quite varied. Little snapshots of ongoing royal life.
Right, like Prince William and Kate missing the Easter service on April 20th.
The sources said they were in Norfolk with the kids.
That was the report, yes. And it noted this was the second Easter they'd skipped.
Connecting back to her health situation, obviously. Then we had Prince George out and about.
Yep, his first public appearance of 2025, apparently. April 7th, at a soccer match in Paris with William.
Described as all smiles.
Yeah.
Nice little moment.
Mm-hmm.
Then on a sadder note, the death of Graham Craker in April.
He was a former royal bodyguard.
Yeah, for William and Harry specifically, he was 77.
And the sources mentioned a particularly poignant connection to Diana's death. They did. He was apparently with the princes when they heard the news, and he recalled William acknowledging him at the funeral.
Saying he felt comforted Graham was with his mom on her final journey. Wow.
Yeah, really touching detail. But then, shifting tone again, some happy news.
The Duke and Duchess of Westminster. Hugh Grosvenor, the King's godson.
That's them. Announced March 12th, they're expecting their first baby this summer.
That's lovely news. But there was also very sad news from Luxembourg's royal family.
Yes, Prince Frederick passed away, aged just 22. This was March 1st.
He'd been battling a rare genetic disorder.
Pole mitochondrial disease, yes. His father, Prince Robert, called him a superhero, highlighting his work with his Pole Foundation. Just tragic.
It is. Shows these things touch families everywhere. Okay, what else did the sources bring up? There was something about Jason Nauf.
Right. He was promoted to CEO of Prince William's Earthshot Prize. That was April 15th.
And the sources made a point of connecting this to a past complaint he made.
Yes. Noted it was nearly 7 years after he'd raised concerns about Meghan Markle alleging bullying.
And the Sussex's response was included too.
It was, their spokesperson denying it, calling it a calculated smear campaign, and pointing out the palace investigation finished in 2022 with no findings made public. History still bubbling up there.
You seem so. What else? Oh, Meghan Markle losing her dog.
Yes, her beagle, Guy. She posted about it on Instagram on January 7th. Sounded very emotional.
Mentioned crying and it being okay too.
Yeah, and gratitude for his unconditional love. Losing a pet is tough.
Definitely. And Prince William also shared a message of mourning.
He did via Kate's Instagram stories on January 4th. For Ed Pettifer.
Who was he?
The stepson of his former nanny, Tiggy Levitt Burke. He was killed in a terrorist attack in New Orleans. William said he and Catherine were shocked and saddened.
Just awful. So many ups and downs covered here. And finally, wrapping up this section.
Meghan Markle rejoining Instagram on January 1st.
And announcing a new Netflix project.
Yes. With Love, Meghan. Announced January 2nd. Described as rethinking lifestyle, shows how-tos, conversations. So, a new public venture for her.
Okay. That really is quite a range. Professional moves, public duties, deep personal losses, happy family news, old issues resurfacing.
It really paints a picture of the sheer breadth of experiences that fall under the umbrella of royal life. It's not just one thing.
Absolutely. So pulling all these threads together from the sources you provided, the accident, the legal fights, the health journeys, the family moments, the losses, the new beginnings.
You start to see beyond just the headlines, don't you? You get a feel for the texture of their lives.
These different snapshots really do give us a glimpse into the realities, the pressures, the personal moments that happen alongside the public roles.
Showing how the very public and the intensely private are constantly intertwined for these individuals.
So a final thought for you, our listener. When you consider this whole spectrum we've just discussed, from that near-fatal accident and those very public legal battles to the private health struggles and moments of grief alongside the public appearances and new projects, how does seeing all these disparate pieces together shape how you think about what it really means to live under that constant scrutiny? And maybe more importantly, what parts of life do you think still remain truly private, even then?
Definitely something to reflect on.